Hi everyone. An update on this keyboard thing, this keyboard business. Um, it seems to have struck a chord. As you can see, I have to do a keyboard for the 500. I've always said I would with the 1500 case as an option, but with the 500 it's nice and easy. It's just basically a case which you've probably already seen. It's the same design as the old one. With a cable and a couple of cables connected up and go through to the easy stuff, so it's not a big problem. The 1200 and the 600, totally different ballgame. And my initial thought was, can't you just use a USB, mechanical keyboard, get a nice one, and the keycap and stuff? But people really want to use the 1200 keyboards. That's fine. But of course, I didn't want to fund this now, so I've kind of thrown it out there. Yeah, okay. Go to the Patreon. I go onto my Patreon page, commit to like $1 a month, and the more I get, if I reach my goal, which is, you can see, $400 a month, then I will create a keyboard, an external keyboard case that will take all the bits I'm about to show you. So now, this is not a cheap endeavour. You have to make the call. Is a 1200 keyboard actually worth it? I'll leave that to you, because you're talking about a reasonable amount of money, probably the same cost as a high-end mechanical keyboard. So just bear that in mind. However, all this is possible now. So, well, what I really want to do is talk to you about my thinking. Now, again, this is only, I'm not going to go ahead unless I reach the target, because then I've got to invest in, I've got to buy all the parts, I've got to get the prototypes made, etc. And I'm only going to do these in white. I don't see the point. Well, unless people ask, I don't see the point in doing black versions, because, for one thing, because it will shrink the size of the batch. The batch is important, because you're probably gonna have to, I'm gonna have to make 50 or 100 in one go. So people are gonna have to, commit to that. But I can always make other batches, but I need to get sizes, because I don't want to invest in them and buy them, obviously. But I think most people want these in white, because it's white keyboards. And if anyone says about black kit caps, well, get them. Please don't say that. Right, so here's how I see it working. Again, I can't give you prices on the case, because I'm waiting for quotations. That cost me nothing. So the design is, I put the design together. I may change it. For example, I may make it big, because I have to keep costs down. So you may find the case becomes, let me just put this up. So you can see at the moment the base is flat, okay? And that's okay for the 500, but you need to put rubber feet underneath it. But what I may do is I may make it so that it's got in the metalwork that the back lifts, okay? Now it's probably, it's hard to describe this, but if you imagine the back here being, say, another 15 mil higher, and the front staying the same. Does that make sense? Which would give it a kind of a wedge shape. The reason for that, the key, which comes to what I'm going to do, the reasons for doing this is, now, what I'm thinking of doing is getting hold of, well, I'm not going to supply these. You can buy them direct, probably cheaper that way. Now, the key rod is a good option, because you can put a 1200 and a 600 into it, and it has a USB output at the back. Now, obviously, it's got these other ports as well, which are going to be completely wasted. Now, because of the positioning of these may cause me a bit of a problem, because the USB port seems to be set back a little bit, but I don't want to go making extenders, because that's going to get expensive. So you may have these sticking out as well. I may have to cut out. It makes no sense for the keyboard, but purely from a cost point, you may have to pay more for me to hide them. And I don't want to hack these things about, because you might want to take it out and put it in something else. But what this does is you can then plug it out. It's not going to go on the side, it's going to go on the back. So I'm going to put this up the back here, if you can see that. Okay, where that hole is there. The wedge shape will allow me the room to put this in. It's fairly low, so it's not going to take too much of a problem. But so I'll put that in the back of the case. Now you can see that's €35 for that already. Okay. Now if I go to the wire, now on the other end you need something like this. Now I am going to be selling these in the UK, but this is it. You can get this from here at the moment. They're designed by a guy in Poland who I've been talking to. Faye's a member on this Facebook group. So Pavel, I forgot his surname again. I'm sure he'll pipe up. He makes them in Poland, and he's a lovely guy. So they'll be coming direct from him. So you can see about £25 roughly, and you've got €35, which is about £32. I'll say £35 shipping, etc. So you got those two costs already. Now, the good news is, if we just do it this way, the actual connecting cable can be one of these for £3.70. So it's got that square connector on there, and it comes to the other side. Okay, you're going to need if you put it in the 1500, which probably you are, but remember this will work with other systems as well. It doesn't have to go in the 1500. This is just an external keyboard case. But if you're going to have that, you might want to. I've actually got. I've already just ordered one actually. Let me just go on my purchase. I'm buying so much stuff. I've got to stop doing this, as I've said before. So this little adapter here, 99p, 25 centimeters, and that will go inside the case and connect this to the back of the case, whatever case it's going to be. Okay, so you kind of got about, so far, I think about £70 with those bits. Okay, and then we come to the actual case itself. Now again, I just don't want to quote prices because I could shoot myself in the face. I have an idea what they're going to cost, and I will tell people that later on. But bearing in mind, you're already spending £70 just for the electronics. Now, we've looked into it, and people have looked into it, doing custom. It's no point at all. Why reinvent the wheel? We can use existing components, one function of the existing component, and do this if this is what you want. And if people can, my gut is saying this is going to come to complete, to connect. It's going to be coming around 110, 120. Okay, so I think the case 40-ish, 40 to 50, maybe. I'm not going to overcharge on this thing, but I'm going to obviously I'm going to make money out of it. So I will all Patreon supporters. I will discount it. It's not hugely, but especially commensurate with the amount you paid. Let's put it that way, because more than likely I'll just take off what you've I'm not confirming this, but more likely whatever you've paid in, I'll have a look and I go, right, okay, I'll knock that off the case if it makes sense. Because obviously I want people to have these. But yeah, so that's my thinking. Yes, you're talking about between 100 and 125 total. I don't know until the quotes come in. Please don't push me for this. But it will give you your 1200 in a case connected to whatever you want to connect, whatever you've got your 1200 motherboard in. Okay, so that I think is a viable solution. Using existing components, and away you go. And the other thing, of course, is to be fair, if you've got an old 1200 keyboard and you just want to plug it into a PC, I'll give an example. Say you've probably seen my latest pictures. If I can find it. Where is it? Hang on, I think it might be at the top. There you go. If you've got one of these, all you need is the keyrar. The white case. We're going to need one of these, and the keyboard case, and then you've got a 1200 keyboard that plugs into this. That's kind of cool. You don't need the USB inside, obviously, because it's got a USB motherboard on this PC. So there's another example where you may want to do that. It's just, because it's just a keyboard, then it just becomes a USB keyboard, which I think is a very cool idea. Anyway, Christ, you could, in theory. 1 second. Because there's no reason why I couldn't do one for the 600. Sorry, that's my butt. You don't want to see my butt, do you? Right. I wonder if... maybe pushing it a bit. Right, it may be pushing it a bit, but if I'm careful, maybe we can do the 600 version if you've got a 600 keyboard floating around. I'm not too keen on this cannibalizing, but there you go. Anyway, so hopefully that's the interest. Let's get back onto the actual keyboard because that's the most important bit. There we go. Thanks to those who already donated to Patreon. I will not be selling these keyboards. Let's give you an example. Say in the unlikely event the Kickstarter fails, doesn't reach its targets. I'm only going to sell these keyboards to people who've supported me on Patreon. Okay, that's a dead cert. And because I'll just do a batch. I'll make a batch, ship them out, and then so people can get them because they were good enough to support me. So if you're thinking I'll come back later on, it's not blackmailing. I mean, it's just a case of doing this for people. If you do want one of these, get on it. $1. Some people are really kind. Some have done $2, $3, $5. $1 fine. I just the more the merrier. And say for example over the next 6 months, you was on my Patreon. I more than likely can take that off of the cost, but we will see. I'll do something. I'm going to make it worth your while. So yeah, I mean, I think the Patreon's great because it just really helps. I mean, I have no intention of buying a keyboard. Okay, and to be fair, it's like the little USB internal adapter. I've got to get another one for the 1200. No, I'm not going to bother with that. But because now, as you can see, I've now got 211. So I'm kind of thinking, well, people have, when that comes in, I'll probably order the keyboard and I'll order the another 1200 adapter. I'll get both of them. And then hopefully if we reach the 400, then I can order the prototype. So it's all covered. And the people who have donated, who are on my Patreon, as I said, if the case Kickstarter, which I'm confident it will, if the Kickstarter is a success, then once I ship them, then I'll make the keyboard case as a product and everyone can have them. But if it's not, I'm to be honest, I'm going to be pretty depressed. So I'll just make a batch of these and then just ship them to people who want them on the thing. So I please everyone who backed it. But that's it really. Thanks again, and I'll speak to you soon. If I can find the stop button.